Hi folks, this is Rose from In Rose's Garden, and today we are going to make a little stretch bracelet using Jesse James Beads Tokyo Nights. So let's turn down and we'll get started on that. Now we're going to use some elasticity for this, and so we need to get out about, well, this is, your stretch bracelet is only going to want to be about 7 inches, but I always get at least 9 to 10 out. But we'll get this later because we got to decide on what we're going to do with our beads here. So I'm thinking we will put this big purple pearl in the middle. I think it has a big enough hole. Looks like it. Then we're going to use as many of the big beads as we can. We want the big beads to be doing their job here. Now I'm specifically going to go for these black ones because you see how big the hole is here? This is, I'm sure, big enough to hide our knot in, so we will use those. See, how long is this? And we have to put some, well we don't have to, but I like to put spacers into my pieces, so we will do that, which will of course add some more length. Okay, that's about 6. We need about another inch. So we'll start putting spacers in and see how much that helps. We'll start with a couple of these. Put those on either side of our pearl. Now, we could make this a multi color because we have a gold in here as well as silver spacers. Put these here. And the only other spacers we have in here besides our little disco ball ones are teeny tiny little little guys. I like all these bright colors in here, but I want, maybe I'll put this yellow one in here between these two. Bing! That works for me. I like all these different colors in here. It makes for a really pretty differences in here. So this other little red one is going to go right here. and we're at 7. I am going to go and find some different spacers since these spacers are all tiny. Or we could go without. We're just about at that 7 inches. Though with all these big beads, it probably will not wrap around at 7. It will probably be closer to it would probably be closer to come on, Rose, think. Besides, we want a little bit something different here. But let's see what we can do. Okay, I've got some flower spacers. We'll put those around the yellow one here. Around the red one. So I think we'll put 2 here, so they're back to back. We'll put 2 around the blue. 2 around the yellow. See. I'm thinking we need, this is a barrel bead, so I'm not sure how well, oh, it sits all right there, so we'll use that on both of those. And then on the other side of these 2 as well. So that should be plenty. And so we'll get our elasticity out and we'll get started. Like I was trying to say earlier, and I don't think I ever said it, the larger beads is going to make this bracelet, when it wraps around into its circle, it's going to shrink down the interior because the bigger beads are going to take up space. So let's get some elasticity out. I'm not going to get a specific amount. I like quite a bit. I would rather have too much than not enough, because when you do your stretches, it will make it a little stretcher, but when you're, or bigger I should say, but when you're doing your this is pretty thin elasticity. I'm not sure I want to use it this small of a diameter. If I was going to, I would probably double it up, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to switch my elasticity for a larger size diameter. I have a really big spool of it right here. You can see the difference in the diameter, why I decided to go to the bigger size. It's quite a bit of difference. This is a 0.5, and this one is a 1. It's a double the width, which, like I say, if I had one of the needles, I would probably use that and double it up. But I don't use a needle when I'm working on mine, so I don't have one. It's if you've ever seen one, it's made specially from Beadalon for a stretch bracelet. It's a big long needle. You put your beads on, and you hook your cord up, and then just slide them down it, making it pretty simple to double it up. But I don't have one of those. Now, when you get your stretch cord out, stretch it. You'll see that's what I've been doing. That just keep stretching it for a while, so you get some stretching to it. If you don't stretch it now, it will stretch out as it's worn, and then you'll get a big bag in it. You don't want that to happen. So then I put a bead stopper on one side. And you'll probably think this is weird, but I'm going to start here at this bead. And that's because this is where my knot's going to stay, so we need to stop and start here. And we had decided we would put these on the side of our blue cap. Maybe we won't. They don't want to go onto my cord. So unfortunately, they don't want to go on the cord, so we're going to have to use a different spacer. Okay, so we've got some different spacers, some large and small triangles. I'm going to use the mainly the large triangles, but blue. But like around the yellow and the red one there, I'm going to use the smaller ones. We don't need that. We have our crystal rondelle here for this spot. And you wouldn't have to use spacers if you don't want to, don't. It's not a necessity of life. I just have a thing for spacers. Always use them. And it might end up making the bracelet too long, and I might need to take some things out. We will see when we get to that spot. Come here, you. Thing I had the bead stopper on there since I got that stuck on my ring and pulled it right off the counter there. That green one seems to have a little chip on it. I'm going to get a little bead cap to go on those to cover those up. Okay, I've got these two little bead caps here. They're what I call conforming bead caps, and we'll put that over the top of our little piece here and squish it a little bit so that it will form right into there. And then we'll go back to putting things on just the way we were a minute ago. Where are you? Now we're going to put that other bead cap onto this one that had the teeny chip across the top. See, that will hide it quite nicely. And it will also protect it from doing that again or getting worse. Okay, now let's see how long it got to be with all these spacers in it. I'm sure it's much longer than it says we need now. Yeah, see, it's almost 8.5. So let's get our cone, our sizer cone out, and we will see how it actually does come around as far as size is concerned. So here we are. There's the 7, and it is a little too big, but just a teeny. Well, if we put it right here and then slide it down, you know, it might be a teeny bit big, but it's not going to be atrociously big. So we're going to go ahead and leave it at this length. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to even my 2 sides out here now. Go around, baby. Okay. Now that we've got them about even, we'll take off our... And we're going to take our 2 cords in our hand here, and we're going to stretch some more. Stretch the whole thing, but mainly stretch the bottom here. So now that we've got that done, we're going to take these 2 threads. We're going to wrap them around 2 fingers all the way around. This is why I want all that extra line, because see how that works. Then we're going to go through between the 2 fingers once and then twice. And as we're pulling it tight, we're going to pull our first finger out. You'll see my second finger's already out, but I'm still pulling on the cord as I let it go so that the knot comes all the way up here. And as you can see, it is a good size knot. So now we're going to stretch it a little bit. That's going to set the knot rather than let it loose. So then we will cut this extra cord off, leaving just a tiny bit of tail. We'll get our Hypo Cement out. Like I have a bunch of extra here on the tip. Let's get that off if I can. There we go. Scratch my finger now. Boy, did I. But you don't really have to squeeze the Hypo Cement. It's really good about letting itself come out. So get that on the knot and then get it closed up quickly, because like I say, it keeps coming out. So get that put away now. And then we're going to work our knot into our big bead here, because it certainly should go. Oh, it went all the way. Didn't want that. So let's get her back through here again. Come on, baby. You went through once. You can go through again. Now I'm holding this spacer against this side so that hopefully when the knot decides to go through, it won't come all the way through again because the spacer's stopping it. Come on, baby. Now we push it a little bit with my finger to finish tucking it in there. Or maybe... There we go, she's in, and there's our bracelet. So there is our stretch bracelet, though we didn't use our tinier thread. We used the 1 millimeter rather than the 0.5 millimeter. I'm going to wrap this right back on here. If I should happen to get one of those needles, this thread is perfect for doubling up. I don't like this size thou for just using it singly. That's a matter of preference, but it is, and I mean the knot would be smaller and it'd be easier to tie, but at the same time it's only half of the size of this, so you have to remember that it would that it would be easier to break the cord. So put our extra pieces away here, and there's our pretty bracelet. So there we go. There is our very pretty, very bright, summery bracelet, stretch bracelet made from our Jesse James Beads Tokyo Nights bead mix. Used quite a bit of that. So I would put it on, but the glue is still wet and I don't want it to come back out of its spot, so we won't bother to do that. But we can put it on the sizer, and it looks like it went between 7.5 and 7.25. So this has been Rose from In Rose's Garden, and again we've been using the Jesse James Bead Pack Tokyo Nights to make this lovely bracelet. And this is a stretch bracelet. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.